Hey, what's going on, YouTube? We are back with week 2 of trying to get better at killer series. This week brings us the Huntress voted on by you, the lovely people of the Discord server. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into day 1 of the Huntress. So I'm a little bit worried about the aim because there's no you kind of have to just guess where it's gonna go. I've literally only played her a couple times. This is a little bit worrisome. Okay, let's get right into the perks. So as far as I know, each killer you play has 3 unique unlockable perks. So the perks for the Huntress are Beast of Prey. When you gain Bloodlust, you become undetectable for 30 seconds, meaning no terror radius, no red stain, and immunity to aura reveals. Huntress Lullaby, a Hex Totem. Survivors receive a 2% penalty on failed skill checks, and for each hook, you gain a token. 1 to 4 tokens reduce time between skill check warnings, and 5 tokens there are no skill check warnings at all. And probably my least favorite, Territorial Imperative. Unlocks potential in one's aura reading ability. Survivors' auras are revealed to you for 4 seconds when they enter the basement and you are more than 24 meters away from the basement entrance. This is really only good for playing defense if you're hooking people in the basement, but it's very situational and I don't think it's very useful, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so the Huntress's ability is her hatchet. She starts the game with 7 hatchets ready to throw and chuck at any time, and you'll need to refill at any locker to get more hatchets. With the basics out of the way, let's get right into game 1 of the Huntress. Okay, we start with 7. So we kind of want to try to push them maybe more towards this side of the map. One strategy that I've found to be useful is finding 3 gens that are really close to each other and trying to play defense on those the most. Obviously not ignoring the rest of the map, but leaving the 3 gens that are closest together gives you an easier time late game, just due to the fact that they're right next to each other and you don't have to traverse as far. Okay. The Huntress's ability to throw her hatchet is a very useful one to say the least. And with the fact that you start off with 7, you could get 3 people down without ever even getting close to them. The biggest problem you'll find is that you'll miss, and miss, and miss. One thing I noticed kind of early on is you'll want to stock up on hatchets pretty much anytime it's convenient. During this entire segment, which was put into 2x, but in real time lasted about a minute and a half, without her hatchets, she is basically useless. And I didn't get a single use out of my hatchets because I neglected to get more. Having these on me probably would have saved me a lot of time and effort during this entire segment. They managed to get 2 gens done, and at this point, I only had 2 hooks. This is an example of why having these hatchets are so necessary. Having the hatchets allows me to take Jake down, saving time, allowing me to break the Jinn before eventually picking him up. Or even instances like this, where I'm nowhere near Gabriel, yet manage to get both hits off from a distance, downing him. And going on to get our 4th hook. There we go. Game 1 came to a close pretty quickly, basically downing all survivors before getting another gen done. With game 1 out of the way, and honestly a very easy game, I'll say, I was wondering if it were beginner's luck, a one-game fluke, or if Huntress was just going to be this wonderful to use. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into game 2. Okay, game 2. Oh, I don't know how to feel about this map. Okay, so let's see. What 3 gens should we mainly focus on protecting? Okay, so like low-key, that one can go. This one can go. So really we need to push them over to these 3 gens, I think. Honestly, after game 1, I was unsure what to expect for game 2. But the beginning of game 2 seemed to be on a similar trajectory as game 1. Cooked! Cooked! Just gonna break this. This good pallet drop. That was kind of perfect, low-key. With the first couple of chases taking a second, we got to 1 hook on each survivor by the time they got 2 gens done. Yeah. Oh, that was not ideal. Let's go ahead and kick this. It felt like at this point they just couldn't get anything going for them. After our first kill, things just kept coming to us. And before I knew it, game 2 was coming to a close, basically in the same way game 1 had, which would give us 2 wins under our belt for day 1. I was definitely feeling good about her so far. It felt like after game 2, we might be an unstoppable force, but something changed in game 3. Let's get right to it. Okay. Game 3. So one thing this series will be good for is learning the maps. At the beginning of game 3, I spent the first 30 seconds essentially doing nothing, unable to find anyone. That is until, well, this happened. Already? Already? Already got rid of the heck? Nope. Let's go and get her up. First hook. W first hook, I think. W first hook, I think. I believe those words just jinxed us. Because I don't know who this Nia Carlson thought she was, but she managed to loot me for not just 1 gen, not just 2 gens, but 3 gens essentially. I did hook her once, but they got her off, and at this point it felt like all hope was lost for game 2. They had all made it to the door, escaping except for 1. We did manage to get Miss Carlson on a hook for all the trouble she caused, but that is it for game 3, as we take our first L. With game 3 out of the way and finding out we weren't invincible with the Huntress after all, it felt like I had been hit with a reality check that I truly was a noob at killer, and there are levels to this. With that being said, let's get right into game 4. But before that, hello everyone, we are so close to 100 followers over on Twitch and 50 subs on YouTube. I would like to try to hit 1,000 on both by the end of 2026, so if you are seeing this video and aren't subbed up, it is free and I appreciate all of the support. Also, join the Discord for more info on stream times and polls for which killer I should play next. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and enjoy the video. Thanks, let's get right back to it. Game 4, here we go. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at where our gens are. We got 3 there. Okay, so we kind of need to push them more towards that side of the map. So we're immediately checking this one, I think. After the events of game 3, I had a chip on my shoulder and a bit of energy to make sure I didn't let that happen to me again. I managed to get some quick hits off in the early game. Nope. Wow. Wow, my hits are terrible. There we go. Nope. Let's go and get her on a Scourge. With one hook out of the way and 2 other survivors damaged, we seem to be in a decent starting spot. I mean, that was until I tried keeping the pressure, getting in chase with the damaged Sable, which we were able to end that chase pretty quickly. Nope. Look at that. And we got a Scourge right here. That's perfect. Alright, we're gonna go check that hook again. Oh, they just got her off. Ended up getting looped for a bit by another Carlson. It seemed those who played Carlson would be my doom. She did manage to lose us because I was too focused on getting hatchets. Luckily for me, the Sable seemed to be malfunctioning. Give me that. 1 Jin, 3 hooks, and back on the prowl. This game felt good for the most part. Except for the fact that it took nearly 3 minutes before another Jin or hook. There we go. There we go. Damn. I need to get somebody on 2 like yesterday. Honestly, the game had been a pretty dull one. Not much went down for a while. They managed to get 1 more Jin done before I got my 5th hook. Luckily, I was able to get her down next to the basement, which changed the trajectory of this game. Her teammates ended up letting her die, which put more pressure on the 3 of them to get the last 2 gens done. This game was coming down to the wire. With 1 Jin left, it felt like I needed a miracle to turn this into a win. That's when I got exactly what I needed, getting Sable down next to the basement. With that Sable out of the way, it was down to the last Sable to make something happen. But her efforts were not enough, and we managed to get both Sables down, ultimately pushing us to our 3rd win of 4 games. With game 4 out of the way, our current record being 3-1 with the Huntress, day 1 was feeling good. The Huntress feels like she's going to be the best of the free killers due to the fact that her hatchet is simple yet effective. The strat that seemed to work the best for me was waiting for an action to throw her hatchet. Vaulting, pallet drops, working on a Jin, any task that requires little to no skill in aiming to get that perfect hit. Unless you completely miss, of course. I also like initiating chase and getting a normal hit off, and then after survivors create that distance, throwing the hatchet to get the knockdown. Huntress didn't seem to have too many downsides, honestly, that I could tell. The learning curve of aiming the hatchet was the only problem I really noticed, but that really only came in open chase when I tried throwing hatchets when survivors had the opportunity to easily move out of the way. And with Game 6 coming to a close and a win that pushed our Day 1 record to 5-0-1, I felt nearly unstoppable during Day 1. With Day 1 out of the way, our current record being as good as it was, I felt very confident for Day 2. I felt ecstatic. I felt like I might have been the best Huntress in the world. I felt probably too confident because Game 1 of Day 2 was an absolute beatdown. I don't know how they managed it, but these survivors were able to get 4 gens done in a matter of a couple minutes. I don't know if the DBD gods just heard my confidence, but it was a terrible start to Day 2 and definitely humbled me a lot. They had managed to all escape while the entire game took only 13 minutes and only getting 1 hook. I soon realized that maybe during Day 1 I was just playing against literal bots. Whatever that game was though, the rest of Day 2 pretty much all ended the same. 4K after 4K after 4K. I think at this point I knew what Huntress was about and I could give her a full and fair rating. I'll give her main ability A tier. It's very simple to use and honestly very effective. Her skill cap is probably high D tier to low C tier. Aiming is really the only skill gap involved while using the Huntress, making her ceiling for being good low, but her floor very high. Definitely a good starter killer if you're getting into this game. Perks, I'll give her a solid C tier currently. I might change my mind on that in the future, but Beast of Prey seems to be the only very useful perk she gets. My favorite add-ons of hers were probably Glowing Concoction, which revealed the survivor's aura for 5 seconds after being hit, and the Infantry Belt. Hatchet hits gains 3% haste for 5 seconds, allowing you to catch up to survivors you hit with hatchets. I'll give her add-ons A tier. And with that being said, let's get into the official rating of the Huntress by me, which totally makes it official. But first, let's watch this final kill. Our final record for Huntress ended up being 10, 0, and 2, and these are our ratings per category. I'm going to land her at a B tier. She could probably be an A tier, but I believe her ceiling is too low to be good with in comparison to other killers I've seen. But change my mind in the comments below. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, I'd appreciate if you liked, commented, and subscribed. I'm hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Check out the last video where I played Trapper, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.